is sensing versus intuition. So a sensing person is a very feeling, touchy person. They relate to the world through their senses. So they have very, they use their hearing, they can be very visual, they can be very sensual. They often, sensing people often want to touch you because they like that feeling of senses. They're very sense-oriented people. A concretists, in a way. Versus the intuitive. The intuitive is just kind of feels things. They tend to get the broad picture, and they'll get a feel for a room or get a feel for how things are moving. And they often, can feel an energy moving forward. They get a sense of the future or the broad picture. Whereas a sensing person will pick out those details. They'll see the colors and the lines and they'll hear the sounds. Whereas an intuitive is feeling more of the big picture. Now the difference between the two is, of course, an intuitive will find a sensing person too much of a concretist, right? They're often attracted to science, for example, as an intuitive might be attracted to more, so-called spiritual things. And they'll disagree on kind of that level. Then we get the difference between thinking and feeling. A feeling person, not to be mistaken with feeling, I feel the feeling that Jung was talking about is not the way you would typically think of feeling. Feeling is it's almost like values. So how I feel about something. It's kind of a sensitivity, but not touchy-feely. Thinking people, of course, logic and how it appeals to their mind will be, how they value something, right? So a thinking and feeling person, two of them walk into a home. Let's say they're a couple and they're going to buy a home. The feeling person will say, this doesn't feel right to me. There's something going on here that doesn't feel right. It doesn't mean it's sort of spooky. It may be that they're sort of feeling a water, maybe there's water running underneath the house, and they can feel that. Whereas the sensing person is just looking at what they see and what they feel and saying, this would be a good investment. And what I see is it's a good deal, and this is the right house. It's in the right location. It's very logical. And so that's how, that one is a little harder to understand, but those two are also very different. And then we get perceiving and sensing, perceiving and judging. So a judging person tends to be someone who is always on time. They like to, the end result is very important to them. So if a perceiving person is the journey to get there. So if you have a perceiving and judging person, the two of them are taking, let's say, a train ride across Canada. The judging person is thinking, when we get to Vancouver, we're going to do this and this and this, and we're going to, set things up and really looking forward to it. Are we ever going to get there? These prairies are taking forever. Like the judging person, wants to get the project done. The perceiving person is sitting there really enjoying the difference in the landscape. The prairies are so different compared with the mountains, and it's the journey to get there that the perceiving person is more important to them than getting there, right? So you often see perceiving people are always late because they're very much in the moment. They're very much if they're with you right now, they're all with you and they're completely involved with that. And whoever they're supposed to meet later, well, you know, they'll get there when they get there. The judging person says, oh, our hour's up, we gotta go now. You know, because I gotta meet this person at 9 o'clock, so we'll have to leave now. They're much more flexible, and you can see arguments between those two types as well. We've all seen those arguments. If you've ever been a part of a group, you can see those arguments. So Jung said, you are an introvert or an extrovert, you're a sensing or you're an intuitive, you're a thinking, you're a feeling, you're a perceiving, or you're a judging. And there's 16 possible variations of that, you know, whether you're an INTF or, you know, and so on. And so it's kind of interesting. You can online find a brief test, which will show you what you are. Just look up Myers-Briggs and you can take that test, I think, free online. It's not as thorough as the true Myers-Briggs. I think the Myers-Briggs takes about an hour or an hour and a half to complete. But there's one online that you can do for this kind of. And you will be one or the other. You won't, there's no such thing as being you know, right on the line between the two. Like you are going to lean more one direction or the other. But again, Jung would say it's better to be closer to that middle line and have some of both. Even though you're going to lean one way or another, better to have some of both in you than to be, say, a complete 100% introvert or a complete 100% extrovert. That would show a problem that needs to be addressed, like a neurotic problem.